All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is going to be for the 9th through the 15th of November. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. So if you're new to this type of astrology, do check the description down below. All right, Aquarius, so a lot of easy aspects this week, considering the fact that we have had the fast-moving planets go into unfriendly areas. We've had Mars and Venus in Virgo, the sun going into Libra where he's debilitated. Mercury's been well placed. In fact, Mercury's going to continue to be so. Mercury's going into Libra, which is a good sign for him here on Monday. But within the context of needing to bring extra attention and balance to particularly, all areas of life really, because it's so vast and they rule so many different houses for you, but particularly around depth, the truth, what's really meaningful to you in life, which has been this 8th house, honesty, trust, it's all about transformation and healing, both with yourself primarily, because it's a watery sort of energy, but also with your inner relationships and that kind of thing. But it can be very powerful, it can be very deep. And that's the 8th house, which has been highly activated for you. It's also been about sharing the truth about life in general. And also your 9th house, bringing into balance the travel, the adventure, the philosophical avenues of life also. But I feel like as last week and probably this week too, it could come across as quite easy because we have so many easy aspects taking place, as you can see here, particularly involving just that new moon and Mercury, who've been very close by. We also have a sextile between Venus and Saturn, which is very nice, and Mars going over that north node. So let's go ahead and look at this week. Essentially, right at the beginning on Monday, we have Mercury going into your 9th house, where you've already had the sun. So there's now more of an intellectual and communicative energy, I think, about philosophy. That could be so many things. It could be religious. It could be, even scientific to a certain degree as well. So it's about seeing what's possible in life and communicating that and really seeing the overarching views of life and your life path in general. I think that's where the focus has been, but now it can certainly be in the communicative sphere and mental sphere, maybe understanding on a practical level more of the spiritual or philosophical avenues of life, or adventurous too. Could be nature, could be travel, things like that. So that's the beginning of the week, setting the stage for this new moon, which is going to be on Wednesday, signifying new beginnings around those 9th house areas. So this is both in the short term of the next 2 weeks and the long term of the next 6 months, involving the adventurous spirits of life and your outlook on life and what's possible in life. Now, what's so nice about it and what's creating most of those easy aspects is that it's happening right in between this Pluto-Jupiter trine that's been taking place over the past couple months. So essentially that forms a double sextile from these 2 points, and this has been the expansion involving your friends or one-on-one connections. Your inner relationships could be quite nice at the moment. Could be, with spouse. It could also be with friends. It could also be with your family, relationships. But all relationships should have this dose of you're learning more about them, learning more about yourself in the process, and there's just sort of a good fortune about it too, and optimism about it. So that's highly activated this week, putting that, creating more positive energy towards these new beginnings from there, as well as Pluto. Pluto, changing and helping you step into your power when it comes to the more group-oriented aspects of life, the 11th house. So whether it's, drawing that line when needed in the sort of group sphere or in the organization, stepping into your power there, making change, really having non-attachment when it comes to groups and organizations, as well as your ideals and visions. This is your house, Aquarius. It's all about the future visions. And that non-attachment there is very supportive. It could be quite easy, in fact. And that's more energy towards this new moon. So in a nutshell, this new moon there's a lot of change available. There's a lot of depth and intensity in a very positive way involving those new beginnings of the 9th, as well as possibilities and expansion and maybe even relationships unfolding slowly in this process also. Because again, the new moon, it's a subtler time. It's not like an okay, go time. It's like, okay, we're planting seeds. We're learning more about it. Mercury, we're still sort of thinking about it, reworking it. Then as the next couple of weeks unfold, you'll notice more of that energy certainly cultivating in that sphere. So it's a great week for reflection and things, setting intentions and things like that. So that's going to be the focal point of the week. And then within that context, Mars does go over the north node here in that 8th house. So there's been that depth, that honesty, that truthfulness over the past 2 years, really, with the north node here. And now with Mars, there's drive, there's intention. Okay, so keeping it balanced, of course, because Mars is in, Virgo, not the best place for Mars to be in. But, I think with the North Node especially, playing a role in such an easy area of the chart and all these other easy aspects, I think depending on our personal chart, I would say lean towards an easier energy to work with. But bring that extra attention to it. I think speaking the truth, conveying it, expressing it, putting energy into your career, I think is a great way of working with this. You have Saturn in your 10th house. And you also have Mars, the ruler of your 10th, going over the North Node. So I think there's just naturally going to be more shifts and changes around career, long-term things, anything you would consider your legacy, and your communications, communication style, perhaps things like that changing. So be open to learning around, middle part of the week involving career, involving future, involving your communications and your mind really, and bringing that depth to it, which is the 8th house, and healing perhaps. And I think that's a very powerful shift and change along this life path. This only happens once every 2.5 years with Mars over that North Node. So, and you can enjoy it. You have Venus in the 8th house. So your connections, relationship connections, home and family connections, all of that could be quite deep at the moment also. And you could enjoy, connecting to those deeper avenues of life. So that's another high point of the week, as well as Venus sextiling up to Saturn. So another nice aspect there. This is particularly involving the home, family, and adventurous stuff. Probably quite rooted, quite grounded with those areas, and just a discipline about it. Especially about the truth, which is the 8th house. But the high point is the new moon and Mercury going into that 9th, and those sextiles from there. So planting new seeds around, expanding your horizons will be the key this week. All right, Aquarius, so have a great one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.